This is Farai checking in for BigThink.com. Michael Jackson's identity was something that we will never fully understand. Starting out as an incredibly gifted young black boy raised in what, by all accounts, was a very domineering household, he became incredibly successful but also seemed to crack under the strain. And his incredible physical transformations, his skin lightening, the eye surgeries, what he did with his hair, in addition to his fashion sense, sometimes drew him acclaim, but also drew a sense of confusion, especially from many people of color who wondered if he really hated himself enough to do these things, to be unlike himself. Um, I think that he was well ahead of the curve in terms of extreme plastic surgery. And now we are more used as a society to seeing extreme plastic surgery. But his transformation was very visual and very literal. At the same time, Michael Jackson was a hero to so many people simply because he kept reinventing himself. It's like that video for Black and White where they show people morphing into each other, black or white, excuse me. And in a way, he was all of those things. He did morph constantly, like, CGI on a fancy movie. He was someone who could transform himself in an instant. What he didn't seem to get a lot closer to was happiness. He had 3 children. He had 2 women who helped father, or, who gave birth to those children that he fathered, although some people, again, very much rumor, say that he was not actually the biological father of the children. But before I digress, he was someone who had, at some point, just about everything. Enormous amounts of property, intellectual property from the Beatles catalog, children, the ability to go internationally anywhere he wanted, just vast amounts of things that you think would make you happy. But Michael Jackson is, in addition to being an incredible talent, also a cautionary tale that everything that you touch, when it turns to gold, that means it's a bit frozen and you can't really use it. I'm not sure that that was the case. I think, however, there was a distinct confusion about whether or not his transgressiveness as someone who was a persona also was marred by the allegations of him being a pederast. It's one thing to be alternative and to set your own path, and there's another thing entirely to abusing children. And I think that some people, some fans of his, in the end, had a really difficult time making up their mind whether, oh, that's just Michael being Michael, the way he dresses, the way he acts, the way he keeps his kids under scarves, or whether there were signs of a more troubling psychological illness that could have caused harm to him and to other people, including minors. That was one of the real fundamental issues that is not going to be forgotten during this whole period of mourning for Michael Jackson, because there have been some very difficult moments. Although he was not convicted of the crime, there were significant questions about payouts that he made, and even beyond allegations about other children, just the way that he chose to raise his own children. And so when we talk about Michael Jackson being transgressive, I think there are a lot of complicated layers to it. I don't think anyone can deny he was a complete genius. He was someone who took soul music and morphed it into, what we consider modern pop. And he is someone who you can see entire cascades of people, from Michael Jackson taking a torch from the godfathers of soul. And actually, one of my favorite video clips is of him with James Brown, the godfather of soul. But Michael Jackson taking that torch and passing it down to people like Usher and even another highly troubled person, Chris Brown. But Michael Jackson put his own stamp on everything. No one will ever view dance the same way, dance in the context of pop culture, because he was able to move and levitate and really transform air. He was able to make steps out of air. He was able to moonwalk. He was able to put himself in a position where you almost believed that gravity didn't exist. And that is an incredibly powerful thing for one man to do. And he's influenced people, you know, across the country, across the world. At the same time, his music and the collaborators that he's chosen to be with have also had a profound effect. I mean, people like Quincy Jones, Richard Price, they contributed to his music, but also to those videos. And I think the legacy of his videos is fascinating because when you look, for example, at the video for Bad, it was this video with credits. You know, it wasn't just the dance sequence, which is what got played over and over again. It also was a video with a message that starts out with Michael Jackson as a kid at a prep school, taking, you know, the train way past the neighborhoods where his white colleagues live and going back to a neighborhood where being bad is being good. And it's a whole morality tale, and it's written by the man who wrote Clockers, and it's written with, you know, it may seem a little cheesy and outdated now, but it also was, the cinematography is unbelievable, and the vision is unbelievable, and the series of videos that he did really shows a profound understanding of race and class dynamics, as well as the transcendent nature of pop culture. So, despite his life being incredibly complicated to the point of seeming tragic, he will be missed.